Hello friends, welcome to Banker Zone. In this session, we'll be discussing the Unit 3 of the Paper 1, Indian Economy and the Indian Financial System. The name of the unit is Economic Planning in India and the NITI Aayog structure. So see here, the definition of economic planning. So what is meant by economic planning? Simply see, planning means you are doing the planning, right? Simply planning you are doing. But for economy, what is economic planning? Okay, so the economist H.D. Dickinson, H.D. Dickinson defined the economic planning. Who defined the economic planning? By the economist H.D. Dickinson. According to him, making of a major economic decision, what, how much, and for whom to be produced, what to produce, in how much quantity to be produced, and for whom it will be produced. Okay, by the conscious decision of the determinate authority on the basis of the comprehensive survey of the economic system as a whole. Okay, so this is very long definition. Let's understand the definition. What is the definition? Means making the decision. What decision you have to make? You have to make the decision what to produce, how much to produce, and for whom you are going to produce. Okay, that conscious decision you have to take, and that should be the determinant authority. Means proper competent authority should be there to take the decision. And how decision should be taken? It is on the basis of the survey. And how survey should be? It should be economic system as a whole. That means you have to consider it is as a macroeconomic level. Okay, now see, I repeat, according to H.D. Dickinson, economic planning is nothing but the what to produce, how much it should be produced, for whom it is going to be produced. For that, we will take the decision on the basis of the survey, considering a system as a whole. That means it is what? It is about the macroeconomics. Okay, so this is the definition of H.D. Dickinson. What to produce, how much to be produced, for whom to produce, that decision we have to take on the basis of the survey. Okay, this is just economic planning. Now, National Planning Committee set up in 1938 by the Indian National Congress, that is INC, political party. But before independence, it was just an organization. So, INC was set up in 1938 by the National Planning Committee. NPC was set up by the INC. Okay, they define the planning. How? Planning under the democratic system. Define as how? They define, the Indian National Congress define the planning as a technical coordination by disinterested expert of a consumption, production, and the investment, trade, income distribution in accordance with the social objective set by the bodies representative of the nation. So basically, the Indian National Congress, they have given the definition in which they have additionally included the social objective also. So only bit you have to remember, as per the INC definition, they have given the definition of planning with a social objective. This planning is to be considered from the point of view of the economics and raising the standard of living along with the cultural and the spiritual value and the human side of the life. That means social objective. The planning is a skill of reaching or achieving the objective utilizing the resources available. So what is the planning? In simple words, I can say planning is nothing but the to achieve the targets, to achieve the objects, how we use the available resources. Okay, and that is nothing but the planning simply. Okay, so according to H.D. Dickinson, what is the planning? According to the Indian National Congress of then the committee set by National Congress called as the National Planning Committee, their definition include social objectives. Okay, so these are the basic definition of the economic planning. Now see, here there are different types of the planning. What are the types of the planning? See, depending on the goal, planning may be categorized into several types. There are various types of the planning. First, if we consider the territory, consider the territory, then planning can be regional or national planning. If we consider the political, then it may be a federal planning, state planning, or the local planning. On the basis of participation, it may be centralized planning, or it may be decentralized planning. Based on the temporal standpoint, it may be temporary, that is for short term or the long term. Planning may be sectoral as well as the geographical. So while sectoral planning focuses on the single sector of the economy, the spatial planning focuses on the development in the geographical context, which aims at the influencing the distribution of the people and the activity in the phases. So here we come to know there are different types of the planning. If we consider the territory, it is a regional, national, political, it may be state, federal or the local. Participation basis, temporal basis, sectoral or geographical. And a sectoral planning, only one sector they are considering, but for spatial they consider the geographical context. Okay, so very easy, nothing to worry about this. Moving to the next, key forms of the planning. See the key forms of the planning which are part of the Indian planning processes. Okay, see first, regional planning. See, the United States was the first country to begin the regional planning in 1916. Okay, so who is the which was the first country? USA was the first country for the regional planning. It was a huge success in achieving the well-defined goals. Planning is implemented at the regional level and it is characterized into the wide geographical area. So what is the planning we discussed? Now what is the regional planning? See, regional planning, it is very much successful in the USA. Why? See, USA itself, it is a United States of the America. Different states they have united together to frame the America. So this is the USA. So it is very important for them to keep the freedom of the states alive. Okay, they are the association of the states, United States of the America. So these states take major decisions independently. State have very much importance in the USA. Every state can have more powers, or you can say absolute powers, okay, as compared to the country as a whole. So states are having huge powers. So obviously they will have their goals as per the states, or you can say as per the regions. That's why you can easily say a regional planning was huge successful in the USA. Okay, now next, national planning. National planning, see, this started with the Soviet Union, which implemented first 5-year plan from 1928 to 33, and it is implemented as a national planning. Okay, so in India we also have the plans, 5-year plans, right? So we can say we have observed it from the Russia, right? So what is the best example for the national planning is the Soviet Union, that means USSR. Okay, that time it was USSR. After that it broke into the countries, but previously it was the Union of the Soviet Russia. So during the Soviet Union they were implementing the 5-year plan, and they have also implemented it in a successful manner. Okay, and they have implemented the first 1928 to 33. The government sought the national strategy in order to take an active role in the resource allocation, mobilization and for equitable growth. Okay, so remember, very easy, USA, two powers you can easily remember. USA, regional planning. Next superpower, USSR, that is Soviet Union, the national planning. Okay, so in this way you can easily remember. Now objective of the economic planning, what were the objective that we will discuss? See, first objective, economic growth. Okay, what was the objective of the economic planning? Why we are doing the economic planning in India? First objective was the economic growth. See, with sustainable growth in the economic output, it is one of the important objective, obviously. Next objective was the poverty elevation. We have to remove the poverty. Several programs aimed for the poverty elevation. Okay, and which was for example Garibi Hatao, they have announced during the Indira Gandhi regime. Okay, so poverty elevation, one of the important objective. Employment of the generation, so generating the employment is also important. Okay, to reduce the unemployment, employment generation in India has therefore been integral aspect of the poverty elevation. Okay, how can you generate the employment? Okay, if the people get jobs, then only they will get money, and then only poverty can be alleviated. Okay, so in this way it is related. Social justice and reducing the inequality. social justice and reducing the inequality, means economic planning was widely acknowledged as a technique for addressing all type of economic inequality. Once you are growing very good, you are getting jobs, you are removing the poverty, obviously there will be a social justice. Okay, this is just parallel, right? Now next objective is self-reliant economy. Self-reliance was characterized as an endeavor to combat the subservient position in the global economy. So if we are a self-reliant economy, then only we can have one of the dominating position in the economy. So for that purpose, this was the objective. And lastly, modernization of the economy. India's plan prioritized in the industrialization of the conventional sector. It began with the agri, then it was necessitated that the quick integration of the modern farming, dairy farming, right? Modernization also referred to the changes in the social outlook, such as women should have same right as the men. Okay, so in this way, modernization of the economy was also one of the objective of the planning. Okay, what were the objective? Just go through it. We want the economic growth, poverty elevation, employment, then social justice and reducing the inequality, self-reliant economy and modernization of the economy. So these were the objective. Now see, history of economic planning. So see, in post-independence, India has a 5-year plans. Okay, we discussed the first 5-year plan in Russia was observed 1928 to 33, right? We just discussed in the previous slide. Now in post independence, India has a 5-year plan with a mid-term review. In unusual year of the war or other areas or the other crisis, India has opted for yearly plan. These are called as the plan holiday. I am going to tell you here, the plan holiday was 1966 to 1969. Okay, and during that there were a plan holiday. Okay, that you have to remember. Okay, now how planning started in India? First remember, I know you have studied in your school days, right, in the economy, but here you have to revise it. Planning, okay, that means for every 5 years there was a plan government do and execute, okay, to run the economy, right? Now but what happened in 65, we had a war basically with the Pakistan, right? And in 61 too, we have war with the China. Due to this, we were not that much financially strong, so we skipped the plan for whole 5 years and we accepted the annual plans. Okay, 66 to 69. Okay, and that is nothing but called as the plan holiday. Okay, now see, in 2015, Government of India has also established what? NITI Aayog. NITI means National Institute for Transforming the India. Okay, see, in 2015, Government of India has formed the NITI Aayog in 1950 and 55. That is in the first plan. That is in the first 5-year plan, when Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister, he constituted the IITs. Okay, so see, you can imagine the priorities, right? So now we'll come back to the session. You compare, so that comparison is to understanding. Okay, to understand in a better way. So in 2015, when so you can easily remember in this way, NITI Aayog was formed by PM, right? And in 1950, IITs was formed by the PM Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, in 2015, NITI Aayog, that is National Institute for the Transforming India, it was the substitute for the National Planning Commission. Okay, so in 2015, NITI Aayog was formed as a substitute for the Planning Commission. So we have just discussed the Planning Commission, right? 5-year plans. Now it has been substituted after the Modi government by the way of NITI Aayog, based on the logic. What was the logic? That the nature of economy had shifted to the market dominated system. What is the reason to shift? Based on the logic that a market economy has shifted to the market dominated system. Now, Planning Commission has been in charge of the planning in India since 1950. That means since post independence, right? So it is headed by the chairman of the planning commission, the prime minister. So who was the chairman of planning commission? Prime minister. Now also the NITI Aayog was also chaired by the prime minister. Okay, and there was a deputy chairman in the planning commission. Now the planning commission commission's plans were approved for implementation by the National Development Council. So planning commission is will be making the plans, and that should be approved by the National Development Council. So that was the scene before the NITI Aayog. Okay, and that National Development Council was also chaired by the prime minister. Okay, now NITI Aayog established as a think tank for the policy guidance to the government. Okay, so what is NITI Aayog? National Institute for the Transforming India. It is substitute for the planning commission, and it is acting as a think tank for the government. Okay, now see first plan. So here we will be discussing the 12 plans. Okay, so remember what is a why 5-year plan. I will give you the brief introduction again. See why 5-year plan. 5-year plan, why? Because the 5-year plan, you can plan for the next big duration 5 years. That means government is planning for the next 5 years, and government is implementing their goals which we have planned. Okay, so in this way they can plan the goal, they can review it, they can act on it, so that they can interfere and achieve the growth target. Okay, so that is basically the planning. Now first plan was in 1951 to 56. Remember, okay, as the economy faced the challenge as a challenge of the large scale of food grain import, prices increases, and the strategy prioritized the agriculture, including the irrigation, electrically developments. The plan was introduced with all of its high intention of socio-economic progress, but the result was the disappointing. So in the first plan itself, what was mainly focus on agri and irrigation as well as the electricity development. This was the main objective. That priority is given to the agri, industry, and electricity development projects. Okay, but due to the huge imports in 1951 for the grains, okay, the result was really disappointing. Okay, now what happened in second plan? Second plan ranges for the period of 56 to 61. Okay, growth strategy was emphasized fast industrialization. So first plan was mainly based on the agriculture, irrigation, and electricity. Second was based on the industrialization. Okay, and the government concentrated on the heavy industry and the capital goods. Professor Mahalanobis invented this strategy. So remember, it is important for your exam point of view. Who was the inventor of a second plan? So Professor Mahalanobis was the inventor. Okay, you have to remember. It is also called as the Mahalanobis plan. Okay, and he stated there should be need of the fast industrialization. Food and capital shortages were experienced during this plan period due to the consumption of the closed economy. Okay, due to the assumption of the closed economy means here why? See, here industrialization was focused, and that full industrialization was sponsored by the central government. That means no private player was there. So heavy money government put in the heavy industries. Okay, heavy industry, so that there was a huge burden on the shortages of food and capital. Okay, so this is all about the second plan. Now we will take brief overview of the third plan, 61 to 65. Okay, why? See, this is important. Third plan is important because this plan notably included the agricultural growth as one of the objective of the planning of India, as well as first time recognized the global goal of a balanced or the regional development. Okay, so third plan, which was 61 to 65, was important because agriculture growth was good. Agriculture growth in this plan was good. Apart from that, regional and the balancing of the regional goal was really appreciated in this plan. Why? Recognizing the goal of a balanced regional development. So all regions were considered for the development. Equally fund might be there distributed, and growth of all region is important here. Okay, third plan 61 to 65 regional balanced development happen along with the agriculture growth. Okay, apart from that, important thing happen here, two wars, one with China 61 and second in 65 with Pakistan. So along with that there was a drought led famine in 65-66. So due to this plan was very much unable to accomplish its objective due to the significant drain and the diversion of the finance. So it is important for exam point of view. You should remember what you remember, that in third plan there was two war, China war and Pakistan war. Along with there was a famine, drought led famine. Due to this we were not able to finish the targets. Okay, why? Because war, we lost a lot of money in the war. So there is diversion of finances, we diverted our fund to the war purposes, right? So and also for the drain. That's why we are not able to finish the targets or the objective. Now next plan, see, after war we were in the very weak position, we were having very less funds. So we move, that is India moved to the 3 annual plans. Okay, so that is also called as the plan holiday. Okay, now see, the 3 consecutive annual plans extended from 66 to 69 due to the country's poor financial situation following wars. Due to discontinuity in the planning process, it was named as a period of the plan holiday. So what is a plan holiday? Simply the annual plan, instead of a 5-year plan, annual plan has been announced since 1966 to 69, 3 years, 66 to 67, 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. So 3 years plan, 3 annual plans were there, and due to this, that is called that holiday period, or the plans are called as the plan holiday. Okay, so important, you have to note here the period you have to remember, and why basically we have extended. See, we are in a situation due to that wars and drought, we were in the situation we should not go for such long planning, we should have a yearly plan. So due to that thinking, the government went on the plan holiday, that is annual plans. Okay, now see the next, fifth plan. Fifth plan was 74 to 79. This plan was mainly focusing on the poverty reduction and the self-sufficiency. The 20-point program was announced during this 5th year plan in 1975. Due to the hyperinflation, government delegated a new responsibility to the RBI called as the inflation stabilization. So there may be a question in your examination, in which plan or in which year, or obviously there will be generally a question, in which plan government has given responsibility to RBI to stabilize the inflation. So inflation means what? Inflation means rising the prices, general prices are high. Okay, so that happened in the 5th plan. Okay, the emergency and the changes of the government at the center then severely disrupted the planning phases. So the emergency was also announced. So you can remember for your political knowledge, emergency also announced by the Prime Minister during the regime of Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, and that was also in the 5th plan. Okay, that was also in the 5th plan. 6th plan ranging 80 to 85, 1980 to 85. This was introduced with the motto of Garibi Hatao. What was the motto? Garibi Hatao. Garibi Hatao, Hindi, English meaning is alleviate the poverty. Already tried in the previous program, that is in 5th plan, but no slogan of a Garibi Hatao was given. Okay, so remember, slogan of a Garibi Hatao. If you see the word Garibi Hatao in the question itself, you have to mark 6th plan, which was the 80 to 85, because that slogan is important, and the slogan was given in the 6th plan by the Indira Gandhi. The plan was prioritized social economic infrastructure in the rural area with the objective of the lowering the rural poverty. Now see 7th plan. 7th plan was ranging from 85 to 90. Okay, What was the plan? Rapid food grain production, greater job creation. So this plan was somehow helpful because food production was increased, job also increased. Apart from that, Jawahar Rozgar Yojana JRY was introduced in 1989 with the goal of providing wage employment to the rural poor peoples. Apart from that, by the end of this plan, India's balance of payment condition led deteriorated significantly. Right? See, in the, till we reach 1991, we are having very much deteriorated condition of the balance of payment. Okay, we were having very less foreign currency, so that we can it can support the imports. Okay, so the government relied heavily on the foreign borrowing. The plan lacked of a sound financial strategy, causing economy to face the unsustainable balance of the payment and budgetary deficit. Deficit means expenditure is more than income. That is deficit. Okay. So in the seventh plan, 85 to 90, India was suffering a lot of the main important thing, balance of payment crisis. What is balance of payment? Balance of payment, for instance, you simply remember you are having foreign currency or a foreign reserve, foreign currency reserve. In this way you simply remember. Okay. Now annual plans, two annual plans. The fast changing political environment. Why? See, after 1990, I think in 1991 or 2, the government changed, and I think PV Narasimha Rao was the prime minister, become the prime minister. Due to the changing political environment at the center prevented the execution of the 8th plan. So after this 7th plan, government has changed, so 8th plan has not been came into picture. Okay, so execution prevented. Fiscal year 1991, that is 90 to 91, then 91 to 92, recognized as the separate annual plans. Okay, so again two annual plans we are observing here, 1990 to 91 and 91 to 92. These two successive annual plans were developed with a primary focus on the employment maximization and social reforms. Okay, so here two annual plans in the history of planning, 90 91, 91 92. Okay, so we have discussed till 90. So here you remember what? See here, the first plan, second plan, third plan, and then three annual plans. Okay, these, see, we are discussing the plans. Three annual plans, 66 to 69, called as the plan holiday, whereas two annual plans during 90 to 92, they don't have any name like a plan holiday. Okay, remember these were just annual plans. Okay, that difference you have to note. Now see, 8th plan. 8th plan was ranging from 1992 to 97. Okay, that was the period. Okay, 92 to 97. The 8th plan was implemented under the typical unstable economic circumstances. Economic reform has already begun in July 1991 with the implementation of the structural adjustment as a macro stabilization measure. What do you mean by macro? See, macro means the measures which have taken at large level. Measures or steps which you have taken at a large level. See, following are the major concern for the innovative suggestion. What was the concern? It was recommended that the role of a state in the economy should be redefined. See, we have faced a lot of problem in 1990 onwards. That is like a balance of payment. We were in such a position, we have kept our gold with other country and taken loan. Okay, so there was very bad situation. So at that time, Dr. Manmohan Singh came to rescue to the country, and he has adopted the LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization, globalization. Due to this, the large foreign exchange capital come into India, and we survived. Then we continued this strategy, and we grown further. Okay, now that's why the role of state in the economy should be redefined after in the plan of 8th. Okay, after 1990. Now market based. Okay, market based development advised in the area that can afford it. For example, a greater role for the private sector in the economy. Market based economy, because due to the reform LPG, the Indian economy now open for the foreign investors. Okay, that is market based. More infrastructure investment, particularly in the lagged states, as ongoing emphasis on the greater private sector investment. So in this plan, the government emphasized infrastructure investment in the states which are lagging in the development. Okay, now see the rising non-plan expenditure and fiscal deficit must be checked. Okay, so government has a big challenge to check on the fiscal deficit. What is fiscal deficit? Government has more expenses than income. What is the income of government? Taxes are the income, and selling the property government can get money. For example, this investment in the LIC, selling LIC, government got money. Like that, subsidiaries must be restructured. Planning need to be decentralized. Social emphasis on the cooperative federalism. A stronger emphasis on the agriculture and the rural activity. So these are some areas. Okay, so we have discussed some major concern in the 8th plan. Now 9th plan, ranging from 1997 to 2002. So in 9th plan, during which the slowdown was observed in the economy due to the Southeast Asian financial crisis 96 to 97. What was the Southeast Asian financial crisis? See, during that period, the Thailand has not done any effort to stop the depreciation in their currency baht. Okay, so due to that, there was a crisis in the Southeast Asian financial, that is a crisis in the Southeast Asia. Okay, that is called as the Southeast financial crisis. Due to this, India also impacted and a slowdown observed in the Indian economy. The plan with the general character of the indicative planning, ambitious high rate growth, that is 7%. So it is very, very important. In the 9th plan, in 1997 to 2002, India planned what? India planned very ambitiously that they will achieve, that means the India will achieve the 7% ambitious growth rate. And there was a focus on the 7 designated BMS. What is that BMS? Basic minimum services. Now see, the BMS included safe drinking water, primary health services, then universalization of the primary education, public housing assistance to the homeless poor family, then nutritional support to the children, connectivity of all the villages and habitations, and the streamlining of public distribution system. The issue of fiscal consolidation become a top priority of the government for the first time. Okay, so these that was the BMS means, see here what we discussed, the basic minimum services. Okay, and that government has identified, and here you can note it. Okay, apart from that, what is the 10th plan? 10th plan 2002 to 2007. Okay, it began with the goal of NDC engagement. Several critical measures was doubling the per capita income in 10 years was the plan, accepting the higher growth rate was the plan. Apart from that, for the first time, plan went to set the monitorable targets for 11 selected indicators, government for the center as well as the states. So remember, for 10th plan, what is the important thing you should remember? They have targeted doubling the income in the next 10 years. Also, the monitorable target, that means targets are set which can be monitored. Apart from that, you see here, governance was considered the factor for the development. State role in the planning was increased in the 10th, and the policy reform was also necessity reforms was also started in the PSU or the other legal reforms in case of labor laws. Agriculture sector determined as the prime moving force, that is PMF, prime moving force of the economy, and increased emphasis on the social sector, for example education, health, and the relevance between the progress of economic reform and the planning emphasized. So these are some you can say measures, okay, in 10th plan. So what you have to note, in 10th plan 2002 to 2007, monitorable targets was important thing you can remember. Okay, apart from that, see the 11th plan. It was ranging from 7 to 12. Okay, 11th plan. Now that plan calls for 10% growth rate and emphasizes the idea of inclusive growth. So 10% growth rate was targeted. Okay, and also they have focused on the inclusive growth. Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act was one of the important approach. So FRBM is also called as the FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management. So they have targeted there should be maximum 3% deficit. That means 3% you can exceed the your spending than your income. So that act was on the paper. A major concern what? Higher inflation was there, above 6%. Then a stronger rupee is maximum export earning shrink fast. A stronger rupee is making export earning fast. So export earning shrink fast. So there was very less export during the 11th plan, we can say. Costlier food grains and the costlier oil prices because inflation is high, right? So inflation was one of the important major problem in the 11th plan. Okay, and FRBM was important achievement. Now apart from that, the see here what you have to note here, the objective in light of the FRBM in the approach paper. Okay, so the planning commission expresses its worries about meeting growth objective in line of the Fiscal Responsibility Management Act. So here FRBM Act was really noted, or you can say really they have worried, that is planning commission has expressed the worry about meeting the growth objective of the FRBM. Okay, so really they might have expressed their disaggression that why government is spending more. If government is spending more than income, then there will be deficit. See, government is earning for example 10 rupees by the way of taxes, and government spending suppose 15 rupees, so 5 rupees will be deficit to the government. Okay, so planning commission expressed their worry about it. Okay, and that happen, see if there is deficit, they see more the deficit, more the inflation. See, more deficit means more spending means more inflation. Simple, right? Now 12th plan. See, 12th plan ranging from 2012 to 2016. Planning commission prepared the draft approach paper. Draft paper approach means what? See, they have drafted basically the plan. How? They have actively participated different parts of the society. How? See, 950 civil society organization across the nation provided the input to make the plan. Then apart from that, business associations, then small businesses, they were consulted. Apart from that, temporary electronic and the social media were also used for citizen to share the suggestion for the planning purpose. Then 5 regional consultations had been conducted. All state government as well as the local representative bodies and the unions were consulted. The growth rate was of 9% is targeted for the plan. Growth rate of 9% was targeted. And it underlined the importance of stepping up effort for achieving the 4% average growth in agriculture sector, with the food grain growing at the 2% per year. Okay, apart from that, for non-food grain the rise is 5 to 6%. Commercial energy supply must grow at a pace of around 6.5 to 7%. Petroleum import deficiency is anticipated to reach 80% in the 12th plan. Okay, so that is also important bit. So 12th plan, you only remember draft approach paper. Okay, most important is draft approach paper was adopted in which plan? It is in 12th plan. Okay, more effective water conservation was focused in the 12th plan. Along with that, water usage efficiency notable in the agriculture sector. It is proposed for the universal healthcare facility, public investment and the public-private partnership, that is a triple P model, was also introduced and effectively in the infrastructure sector. Now we will assess the 5-year plans. What that 5-year plans gave to the Indian economy. To recap, the fundamental goal of India's 5-year plans was to raise the national income as well as the per capita income. So we grown our income in the both way, national income in the form of GDP or the per capita income also. Apart from that, 7 of the 12 5-year plan experienced a lower growth rate than the expected. So out of 12, several plans expected the have experienced the less growth rate than target. Okay, out of 12 plan, 7 plan we can say achieved a less target of growth. The green revolution in 1960, due to the green revolution in 1960, we are not only a self-sufficient for the food grain, also we are the leading exporter for the of many agriculture products. Okay, now here we again discussing the that 5-year plans. Okay, so see here. So see here the plans. Okay, just we will take again one short review. See, first plan was 1951 to 56. Okay, what was the objective? Objective is agricultural growth for the food self-sufficiency, inflation management, and the irrigation and power project, that is electricity project. Now we will assess it. See, the plan aimed at 2.1% growth, but we attended the 3.6%. Government was given active role in the economic area, and here 5 IIT were established. Okay, so remember, in first plan itself we established the IITs, and we achieved the more target than desired. Okay, now in second plan it was 56 to 61. It was 56 to 61, and focus only on the heavy industry. We achieved a 4.5%. Target was 4.5, but only actually achieved 4.27. And this could not fully executed due to the inadequate availability of the foreign currency. Hydroelectric power plants and the 5 steel plant were built in the Bhilai, Durgapur and the Rourkela. Okay, so heavy industry, so we can easily correlate with the steel plant. Okay, now third plan was 61 to 65. Okay, so the goal was boost the income, that is national income, more than 5%, increasing agriculture productivity, achieve the self-sufficiency, and expansion of the basic industry. But what happened? The third year 5 plan projected the growth rate was 5.6, and actually only 2.4% was achieved. Okay, so why? Due to the war with the China and Pakistan. Okay, also the drought condition was there. So this is just overview. Now next, 66 to 69 was the plan holiday. We have already discussed. Target, the larger objective of this annual plans was integrated into the fourth plan. Okay, now what happened? A new agricultural strategy was implemented in this plan, and including the distribution of a high yielding seed variety, extensive fertilizer uses, irrigation potential exploitation, and soil conservation measures. These were the objective. What we can assess? See, an annual plan, also called as the plan holiday, it is a time in which government abandons normal 5-year planning in favor of yearly plans. The government may choose for annual plans because it does not have enough resources to allocate the 5-year plan. So due to the following the war with China and Pakistan, we don't have that much of resources, so we shifted our focus to annual plans called plan holiday. After that, we implemented the fourth plan, 69 to 74. This was mainly based on the Gadgil strategy with a special emphasis on the idea of growth with a stability and self-reliance, right? So this was the objective. What happened? We again entered into the war with the Indo-Pak war, that is Bangladesh. Okay, creation of a Bangladesh. Due to this, lot of fund is diverted again in the war. Okay, and again in the fourth plan, growth was 5.6% targeted, but actually achieved is 3.3%. Then fifth plan was 74 to 79, emphasis given on the poverty reduction and self-reliance. Again, Indira Gandhi was the PM that time, and nationalized 14 Indian banks. So when it is nationalized, I think the 14 nationalized bank was nationalized in 19th July 69. Okay, So why they have given in this period, I don't know. You just go through with your Google. Okay, green revolution is boosted agriculture. So you can remember, it is important. In fifth plan, the green revolution happened. Okay, in which plan? Fifth plan. Remember, the targeted growth rate was 5.2, but we achieved 5.5, which is more than target. Apart from that, in sixth plan, which was 80 to 85, the strategy was established for a purpose of Garibi Hatao. The phrase Garibi Hatao, the slogan Garibi Hatao was very much popular during that period. The plan began with the target group strategy as well as the implementation of the many national level program. Okay, and here most objectives were met with the 5.5% growth. So here the growth achieved is 5.5, and mainly the slogan was Gravity Hatao, and in that connection many programs were launched. In seventh plan, 85 to 90, this plan major objective was improve the growth in area, for example, boosting economic productivity, food grains, and creating job through social justice. These were the objective. But what happened? Actually, they have implemented the Jawahar Rozgar Yojana in the seventh plan. Remember, it is like a seventh, it is Jawahar Yojana. Okay, in this way you can easily remember. It was begun with in 1989 with the goal of the creating wage employment in the rural area. Apart from the target was 5%, and achievable, that is achieving it is government achieved it 6%. Okay, that is good. Then annual plan 89 to 91. Post crisis, we went to the annual plans. Yet annual plan could not take place due to the fast changing political environment in the center and a primary focus on increasing employment. Marked the start of privatization and liberalization in India. So when the privatization started in India, it is purely LPG reform. When it is adopted, liberalization, privatization, globalization. Okay. Apart from that, eighth plan we have in 92 to 97. The target again same: rapid economic growth, expansion of agriculture and associated industry, then manufacture, then exporting, increasing export import, etc. What we achieved, we will assess here. To bring about economic reform, LPG were implemented. In the previously they were discussed, but 92 to 97 they have implemented the reform. Target growth rate was 5.6, but due to the LPG, more inflow of capital, so 6.7% achieved. Okay, so this is notable thing. In ninth plan, 97 to 2002, BMS was, you have to remember the word BMS, basic minimum services identified. Okay, apart from that, the growth was the primary objective, again growth with justice and the equity. The social fiscal consolidation become a top priority of the government for the first time. Okay, that is the important thing you should note. In ninth plan, when the fiscal budget management was the priority in the ninth plan. Okay, there was slowdown due to the slowdown in the economy due to the Southeast Asia financial crisis we just discussed. Ninth plan target was 7.1, but we achieved only 6.8. Okay, so this is ninth plan. Now 10th plan 2000 here, 10th plan. Okay, so 10th plan was ranging from 2 to 7. Priority was to achieve the strong growth rate, reduce the poverty by 5%, provide the gainful and high quality employment. Okay, these were some objective. Here growth rate targeted was 7.7, but we achieved 8.1, which is more. 11th plan 7 to 12, the 2007 to 2012, priority was given to achieve the quick and more inclusive growth. What happened here? Again the planning commission expressed the worry. So remember, when planning commission expressed the worry in the 11th plan, so okay, that you have to remember. So we achieved a 7.5% GDP growth, which was less than the target of 9%. Okay, target set was 9, but we could achieve only 7.5%. Now 12th plan was ranging from 12 to 17. Faster and more inclusive and sustainable growth was the objective with the theme line, and increasing agriculture production by 4% was the target. Manufacturing sector growth by 10%, increasing over 88,000 milliwatt of the megawatt of electricity generation was the target. This was the objective. Out of that, the plan's target of 8%, while actual achievement was only 6.7%. So target they have kept to grow by 8, but they have only able to achieve 6.7%. Okay, Indian Planning Commission basically. Okay, so this is all about the plans. We have discussed the plan in detail, in short, and tabular form also. So here is the end of this session. You should subscribe our YouTube channel Banker Zone on YouTube. You have also you do one thing, you have to share this. You have to share this information, this video, to your friends so that they will be benefited. Don't forget to download the application from Play Store, Banker Zone JAIIB. Link is given in the description. Happy learning.